Hi, we're here working on lesson 5.3, and of course I would love to be working through these with you, but I'm going to take you through it step by step and give you opportunities to earn points for it. So here we go. We are on to the serious stuff now. We've been solving problems that have radicals in them, but no other things to undo to find x, and now we find ourselves with this times 3 in front. So I'm still going to suggest that you get this radical out here as fast as you can. Change the radical to an exponent, only because this can be very intimidating for people. So we're going to change this from the fourth root of x to the fifth to x to some power. So the question is the answer x to 4/5 or is it x to 5/4? The correct answer is that it's 3 times x to the 5/4. With some practice, it becomes a little bit more normal. I think of it this way. It's very difficult to put this in a calculator, radicals like that. But if we change it to an exponent that we can all agree on means the same thing, this is something that's much easier to put in the calculator. Okay, so that's step one. Second, it says undo to isolate the x and its exponent. So we can't get to this exponent and figure it out until we get that times 3 out of there. So how do you undo a times 3? Hopefully you said divided by 3. So I'm going to bring in my t-chart. And I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And what is 150 divided by 3? All right, so what we should have is x to the 5/4 power equals, and you said that it was 50. All right, now we've made it to the point where we have what we've been practicing solving. Now we're going to neutralize the exponent. So we're going to look at 5/4 and we are going to figure out what of it. Are we going to figure out the opposite or are we going to figure out the reciprocal? The correct answer is the reciprocal. And what is the reciprocal of 5/4? All right, the correct answer is 4/5. So you're going to take this and you're going to wrap it up all nice and cozy in a parentheses. And I'm going to do the same thing to the 50. Put it over there, and we're going to take it to the 4/5 power. And this is totally legal because we're doing it to both sides. What it does is it neutralizes this because 5/4 times 4/5 equals 1. Then we're just left with x to the first power. And math people are lazy, so we just write x. And then you're going to enter this in your calculator. 50 caret parenthesis 4 divided by 5. And when you enter that in the calculator, what do you get? I got, and hopefully you got this also, to 2 decimals, 22.87. And since we did that approximately, I'd like to change that to a squiggly. Okay, so that's your first one. Now we're going to go on to the next example. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for that radical. It's not the end of the world, it just feels like it. I'm going to keep the times 2 there, and I'm going to rewrite it x. And if we change this radical to an exponent, is it 5/2 or 2/5? The correct answer is it's 2/5. All right. So then we're going to bring in our t-chart and we're going to undo so that we can isolate the x and its exponent. We don't want to do any other anything with reciprocals, anything like that, until we have safely gotten that all by itself. So the next question is, are we going to undo the times 2 first or the plus 11? The correct answer is we're going to get rid of the plus 11. How do you undo plus 11? You subtract 11. And what is 27 minus 11? Remember, I'm giving you opportunities to earn credit while I'm doing all the writing. So you're totally thrilled to answer all my little questions. 27 minus 11 was 16. Now, how do we undo that 2? When a number's up against a letter, that means multiplication. So how do we undo that 2? Correct answer is we divide by 2. So 16 divided by 2 is, what you're left with is x to the 2/5 power is 8. All right, so we have isolated the x and the exponent. Now we're going to neutralize it. We want this gone. We're going to take each side to the power of the reciprocal. So what is the reciprocal of 2/5? The correct answer is 5/2. So you're going to do that to both sides. And then you're going to put that in your calculator. All right, so you're going to type in your calculator 8 to the 5 divided by 2 power. Because this has been neutralized, 2/5 times 5/2 is 1. And then you're going to type in 8 caret parenthesis 5 divided by 2 and see what you get. What's your answer? Now I rounded it, so I'm going to change these squiggles, and I got 181.02 because that 9 made the 1 round up. Okay, I have one more example for you. This one is actually looks scarier, but do you notice I don't have a lot of steps right in here? So let's take some solace in that. Okay, first thing we're going to do is change the radical to an exponent. So I still have the 1 over, and I still have the equals 2. What I don't have is this radical anymore. So the question is this x to the 4/3 or x to the 3/4? The correct answer is 3/4. Now, we can't quite finish this yet. I don't know if you remember this or not, but if it's down in the bottom like this and it's a 1 over, it can be written as x to the negative 3/4. So that's why I'm going over this one, because it's a lot of days in between when we talked about negative exponents before. And it only seemed fair that I work through this one with you versus just set you up to try it by yourself. All right, now we're ready to neutralize the exponent. What is the reciprocal of negative 3/4? Is it negative 4/3 or is it positive 4/3? The correct answer is that it is negative 4/3. The reason is because when we want to multiply to make it equal x to the first, we need another negative number, because a negative times a negative equals, that's right, a positive. All right, so if I take this to negative 4/3, then it does truly neutralize it. If I only take it to the 4/3, it doesn't make it x to the first power. All right, so what you're going to do, these are gone, is you're going to put it in your calculator. Be careful. 2 caret parenthesis negative 4 divided by 3. And when you do that, you're going to get an answer. You're going to share it here in this ed puzzle, and if you get it correct, you'll get full credit. Thanks for following through with these. Really wish we could be together to do this, but thanks for your hard work.